The thing I was like, I've like played with this so much that with like a bunch of different like YouTube accounts, and I can't.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure what we're linked to. But we should. I'm gonna just send them up here publicly. Hmm. All right, so I guess I'll have to. We're live somewhere. Is it a 5? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to make sure I really. We're live somewhere, so who the fuck gives a shit? I'll figure it out. I can figure it out later. Um, but obviously, in the future, I'll have to just make sure I know which YouTube account is connected on here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, no big deal. Cool.
I mean, we're live
That'd be
somewhere.
kind of interesting. You going live somewhere? All right. We're gonna leave this to posterity.
Yeah,
The annals of time. You know.
Oh, hold
We've
on.
been wanting to do this for a while.
Mm.
We've been like talking about it. You've been talking about it. I've been like low key like supporting it. The idea of
Sir?
having like a group or like a live stream show on YouTube. Dude, that shit goes somewhere, you know? Then it's like out in the public record, you never know.
Yeah, okay, so I got it. Let me just see. Is it a 5? John Pappas. If you search for let's see.
Coronavirus inconsequential?
If you just search for no, just inconsequential.
Yeah. Come up with a lot of stuff.
Oh, I got it. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Is it a 5? John Pappas. If you search for let's see. I don't. God, I wish I could figure out. You just search for just inconsequential.
I got it.
That's us. You're listening to us live on the internet, Sean. Feel free to throw a thumbs up on there and a subscribe. Like and subscribe, Sean. Is it a 5?
Quite the lag on that thing.
Yeah, well, you're not really like supposed to watch it while you're live.
Well, you're actually.
Well, you can, but you have to set it up differently, and I probably wouldn't be exactly like this. Is probably not how we do it. That's us. You're listening to us. Right. That's why I wanted. That's why I was trying to get you to come through my fucking headphones, but.
What, so that you could be like in real time?
No, just so I could not have it all just fucking being a pain in the ass. I don't know. I just want all the audio to come through my headphones. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you. That's wild. So Let me subscribe to this.
What's up?
I was thinking I was going to subscribe to this thing. Oh my god, my computer's like too much is going on. This is we're in, okay, cool. Entertainment.
Yeah, I was just like playing video games the other.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. I don't.
You know what?
I don't subscribe to a lot of things because I don't know. I'm like very much.
You're a badass, you know.
Yeah. I'm a badass, and I have to. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I try not to like have my digital signature locked into a number of different.
Okay, you don't want anyone to build a web around you,
I don't want the man fucking trying to sell me. I don't know, a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
But I don't know. But I'm gonna make a note of this, and I'm gonna put it in notes. Is this your just John Pappas's channel? Is that like? All right.
So I made
Not worried
like
about
I think it's actually. Well, this is one YouTube channel that has the name John Pappas associated with it, but
not the John Pappas YouTube channel.
well, this is probably this is probably the one
Widely recognized at this point, I suppose.
What's that?
The most widely recognized.
This is probably
point.
I think we had right now we had at least one viewer going on in there, so I'll take it.
Me, I'm cool with it.
That's all.
I don't know how people. How do you like build a fan base? Of like viewers.
So okay, so I think like the first thing I think I would do, right, is just to have content going out there every single day. I think I'd play I have the Doom from 2016. All right, it's freaking sick. I could buy the new Doom.
Yeah, Doom is sick.
Let's say I buy the new Doom, right? And
yeah.
I record myself playing for a couple hours, 3 hours today, right? And I just chop it into 6 half-hour long videos or 12 15-hour long videos, and you just have it set every day at 4:00 upload one of your videos. So you get it pushed into the algorithm there, and then you gotta spice it up a little bit. People will stay if they see a little effort or if they think you're funny or something. And then I don't know. That's it. Then you gotta be good at whatever you're playing, and I don't know. Then it's marketing. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some skill involved with it. That said, I was watching one of those Doom streamers. And I was watching one of them, and he was an absolute chump. He wasn't tactical at all about how he was going to advance on the demons.
Okay.
I was very disappointed. He was he provided commentary, and he was pretty thorough. He went through and he went through his
You were watching this live?
I was watching a recording of it. It was Doom Eternal, ultra violence, difficulty settings,
yeah. But I think at that level, it's so chaotic. You just hear running and gunning. Was he dying?
He wasn't dying too much. The thing with Doom is it appears to be a running and gunning game, but it's actually how you slow it down and approach it piecemeal.
Okay.
And what he was doing was he wasn't sizing up the arena. He'd step into a new area and he'd be and he'd he wouldn't take the angles. He wouldn't look at his he'd be close up meleeing dudes getting health. He'd maxed out his health. He had no armor. dude, you got to you got to do whatever, you got to flamethrow that thing and then blast them. He was like
You got to get
going
the
in
right
like
power
short
ups,
range.
right? He was sloppy with his
I was like,
with the moves he was using to get the power ups he wanted.
exactly. His tactics were all
Hey,
off
maybe he was
base.
new.
And I was
Maybe
like,
he was new to it.
he was new, but it was like ultra violence. You'd think that somebody had like some,
Right.
like a bit of,
Right. To be playing at that level.
like maybe a little hard boiled, like maybe like kind of seen some action before. Come to find out, no. But that game looks sick.
Yeah.
Regardless of that streamer's bringing uh, his
Skill level
stream
or
on that game. That game is looks very cool,
so Sean.
and it's like looks very, yeah.
Oh, sorry. You keep going. I didn't mean to. I thought.
No. I
So
have my question. That was like,
I recently saw online that they put out this like new Halo like master collection, and it's got all of the Halo games.
yeah,
And I was actually just
yeah.
like I was like reminiscing about when we would like was like freshman sophomore year of high school, just play Halo. Like that was big for a while. I remember skipping school the day Halo 2 came out. And then
It was it was an event.
yeah, there was actually back when we were in high school in like mid 2000s, a new video game for us was a big deal. There was times where we'd get it at like midnight from like GameStop or like just like Halo like football Halo like like battle events, multiplayer events. We with like several TVs. You never got in on any of those? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I did. I went to Brent. We hung out. Brent Trudeau. I hung out with Brent Trudeau,
Okay. Yeah.
who would go to his. I went to his house a number of times, and we would have like these big LAN parties for
You
Halo.
remember we play with like the football? You ever play
Halo,
with
the
like the
original
football
Halo.
team? You remember? Do you remember like as we got a little like this was like maybe like junior year or something like that. Junior year or something. We would play like we ended up or maybe senior year. I don't know. We ended up playing like football or like Halo at like Jay Norton's house with like two TVs. We'd have a TV in the kitchen. Do you ever get in any of those?
Ooh, I think I got in like one of those. I remember being in like Jay Norton's kitchen
Mm.
and being like,
You remember like
I don't know. I remember hanging
football
out.
like pasta parties and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, oh
Shit was
yeah.
awesome.
Those team building exercises, man. That's
Yeah.
what that's all about. Like,
Just playing cards, gambling, and just
say
like
what you will about video games, they bring people together. You
right,
know,
it's like a
and
bonding
like
thing for
violent
guys.
video games. I don't know. Some of those like Halo and stuff. Like, I feel like they're doing way more good than harm as far as like bringing people together, like getting people like come in, like team based stuff. I don't know. It just like it works for some reason. You
Yeah,
know, say
I'm
what
a
you will
fan.
about like instincts, like human instincts towards like I don't know, like maybe the hunt or something, and like going off and like having objectives and like running around and like or like fighting a foe in wartime and like having like members on your team. But like it's very like that. Once I remember that took off in like Halo. You have like multiplayers. You could do LAN. It was like on a console, which like kind of made it accessible. You weren't
Yeah,
like you were playing video games. You weren't like a
it was like Halo
like
was like one of the biggest video
computery like
games ever. It like
Halo. Yeah,
it was like a I don't know. It was like it's like a defining moment in like multiplayer like shooting like homelands.
that was like a big advancement in like first person shooters.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't like you had Doom, Castle
right.
Wolfenstein,
Or like people like playing Quake.
Duke Nukem. I didn't play much Quake.
It was just
Quake
like
was always kind of like
it was
Quake. I
like
didn't play any Quake.
it was like just like running gun like deathmatch kind of like game I guess. I don't know. I don't know. You haven't played
I
it.
remember it was like bundled with like Counter Strike,
Mm.
and I remember like
Right, yeah, me, you,
there
and
was,
like Brendan Clocher at least once
oh
did
yeah,
like three-way phone
okay,
calling to like
oh
play
yeah,
Counter Strike together. We did that at least. I remember doing that at least one time. One time.
absolutely. You know, and having like trying to work out like tactics and like a battle plan. That was what it was. That was like the high. That was the pinnacle of gameplay. Was
Yep.
like you could now you were a person in an environment with other people who like shared the environment, and you like it was like maybe team based. You could team up with people, and like you then tried to like it was like man against man in this weird like team individualistic survival strategy game. And yeah, like calling up your friends and like trying to get like a decent like gameplay going, like a
Yeah.
game strategy going. That was what we I always like wanted and like aspired towards, but it never came to fucking bear in like
Right.
any kind of real sense.
Yeah, I had that. I
I
had like.
still want to play video games. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, I still want. Yeah, I still want to be playing video games with my friends. Okay, Sean. This is what I did like 2 weeks ago. I played Dungeons and Dragons over the computer, like
No
through
way. That's cool.
like this, like through this, exactly like this. Me,
On like act. Um,
remember my buddy Nick, blonde kid from I went to school with.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Nick was DM. Our other buddy Nick was playing, and our other buddy was in California and he was playing. And so and we just had like a quick like impromptu game. It was like on like like one of the first Friday of like the quarantine. It's like, hey, you want to play? He was like, you want to play Dungeons and Dragons tonight? And I was like, oh, I'm in. Sure, yeah, I'm in. And I have dice and stuff. I actually bought a. I'm hoping to play a couple more times with them so I can get like a feel for the rules about like what the actual like when you need to roll and what like get like good with the dice and like really what they mean and when you're supposed to roll them. But I actually bought a like Dungeons and Dragons like starter kit set. It came with a couple packs of dice. It came with a starter like campaign like story for beginners. Came with a couple like pre-made characters. Also, obviously we could make characters, but once I learn how to do it a couple times, then we're gonna start playing Dungeons and Dragons, Sean.
That would be fucking badass, John. I don't know, man. I have like a very loose conceptual understanding of Dungeons and Dragons. I kind of get the idea that it's like kind of a free form game. You pick a character, you create a character, and give it some attributes. You're then thrown into this situation that the dungeon master creates, and you have to then like use your character's abilities and tributes to like overcome the situation and like progress throughout
Yeah,
the game, I guess.
yeah,
So it's cool because you pretty much whatever you want to bring to it, you can bring to it, and all you need is like a dice and like some paper and like an imagination.
that's it. Yeah.
How the fuck do you do a short impromptu game of Dungeons and Dragons though? Like how is that?
Okay, so imagine we
Like
all
there's
just
a
so if we just had like let's say we go on Wednesday, whatever, let's say Friday. We'll say like Friday we're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons. Me, you,
okay.
Slice, whoever wants to play. We got like four of us, right? Or 4 or 5 of us, right? And I go, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the dungeon master, and then and you go, all right. So you guys make your characters level 1 characters, whatever you're gonna be, and I'm gonna put together like a little bit of, like story campaign or something like that. I'll just say, okay,
Yeah.
you're on the edge of a river, in this town, and you guys know each other for whatever reason. You're in the same bar or whatever goes on. Some lady comes in. Lady comes in, and she's panting. Oh, I need help. I need help. Yeah, blah 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 blah. And then you can be like, okay, that's what happens first, right? And you could be like, all right, you have like a badass ranger. You're like, my guy does nothing. He just sits back and waits, right? Okay, be like, okay, like
Yeah.
maybe do like a perception roll, right, or something like that. And you're like, okay, you got to roll this. Check your
Yeah.
stats.
Okay.
You roll it. You say you got a.
Hold on a second. Yeah. 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 All right. Yeah. I had to talk to you, Daddy.
Yeah. So like then let's say you go okay like you're like oh perception roll. No, I'm the dungeon master. So you go I just sit there and I wait and I just watch what's going on. I go okay
Yeah.
roll for perception or something like that. You roll a 16. I decide if I think that's high enough or not. And if it is high enough, maybe I'll give you like you notice that she has boots on that are from this whatever tribe or some shit like that or some whatever. If you want, if I want to give you like that clue or something like that. But the point is, I have like an idea of a story arc. You're gonna start in the bar. The lady's gonna come in. Then you're gonna figure out some way. I'm gonna get you to this area to learn this thing at this place. It's gonna then send you to the haunted mines, up in the hills or some shit like that to save the girl's husband or some shit like that who was just looking for mining something to see whatever. It doesn't really matter why he's there. And then you guys like fight your way down. You see a monster and you're like, okay, you're a fighter or a ranger or whatever, and this is how you attack the monster. And pretty much like the fun of it is whoever's playing the characters, like getting into it and using imagination, because you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. We're in the bar. You guys like, you can like describe what your guy looks like. You have an idea of what your guy looks like, and maybe a couple like random fat little backstory or something like that. So when you sit there and like you just like wait, we have an idea like oh shit like because this is like a dark it's kind of there's no TVs in there. It's like candles. It's not like it's not right now. So it's like a darker bar and he's like hanging out in the corner, just kind of looking menacing. He looks real menacing in a place.
Build an atmosphere.
Right. You build a little bit of atmosphere. It's like someone else could be. My guy likes to drink. He's he's a big guy and he likes to just like have fun. So he's drinking. So this lady comes in. She like whatever happens, reacts differently, and then somehow you guys come together to then go on this adventure, and
Yeah.
and then like it. But
That sounds like it sounds a good time.
you keep track of like XP and you keep track of like levels and stuff like that for your character. So like let's say we were like we're gonna play every Friday, and then so like in like 6 months people would have characters that are like higher level and you could be fucking fighting like crazy like overlord like demon dragons or something like that. You know what I mean? You're not worrying about some little lady walking into like the bar. Like there's some peasant woman like that would never get to the where you're drinking by that time. You're such a like hang out like it's just so much more badass. And then like you could like
It's like it sounds like
any character from like anywhere. You could like yeah we're doing a medieval thing, and then you go yeah okay but I'm a side. Like halfway through it, you find out your guy's like a cyborg Jedi or something like that. And you're like, what the? You're like, dude, it's Wild West. What are you doing? Looking for Cortez's gold.
I'm a fucking cyborg Jedi in the Wild West, dude. Welcome to the new age.
I
dig that though. That's cool because it's very much like a group of people coming together and like collaborating on a shared experience. That's like essentially just imaginary, like you get to just like pretty much make up the rules as you go along, like throw in some like random chaos, like get your character.
There is a lot of structure to it. You can play like there can be a lot of structure to it. I'm just
okay.
And there are different. I think like 5.0 is like what like version is the newest version. The version, at least some of my friends were playing like the newest version, like 5.0. And some of those rules might be a little different than 4.5 or whatever 4. And then there's like Dungeons and Dragons is. I always use it as like an over term for all of that sort of like tabletop kind of game.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like
Well, that makes
there's
sense.
like other companies that put out similar, pretty much, similar tabletop games that like you could have one that's like based in like a Dragon Ball. You could play. You could be like, oh yeah, this is set in like a Dragon Ball Z universe, you know. And you're like, oh fuck yeah, okay, I'm picking. This is what my guy's gonna be like, you know. And I'm sure there's other
We,
rules that like modify like abilities, like roles and stuff like
morality.
that for like Super
Yeah.
Saiyan powers and stuff like that, you know. So I mean, or you could just make it up because I'm sure. Cause, I mean, they've refined it at this point, but at some point it just came from like a couple guys like, hey, let's just write down like my guy's got 20 points, and yours guy's got 20 points, and these are our things. We'll just roll against each other for the point. Like, all right. Someone's like, why don't we be on the same team and we'll fight a dragon? Okay, all right, but how do we get And then they just like
Yeah.
we're
Now,
very
how many points does the dragon have?
right.
How many points? We got to give this dragon some points here.
Right.
Get him on the board.
And then eventually
Once you get him
someone was like, dude, my guy kind of looks like this, and it like drew like a badass picture. He's like, oh fuck, all right, my guy looks like this, and just like draws like an equally badass like dude, and just like
I imagine you could be like very involved,
oh
very,
yeah,
very much involved, and like nuanced in a way. Like you could have all these like really in-depth characters. Like there was some kid when I was working. There was a kid who was like doing like stock or something, and like I was like walking out back one day, and he like had this little sheet, and I was like, "What the hell is that, dude?" And he was like, "I'm making my Dungeons and Dragons character." And he had like all these attributes. Like there was like a space, he had printed it off like online or something. And there's like a place where he could actually like draw in what his character looked like. He could like give it these attributes, like all these other things. And he was like creating his character essentially from nothing. And then like I guess he was gonna interject it or insert it into this world that is made up, and has like
yeah,
some rules, like but it seems like whenever I see it like mentioned in popular culture at this point, like for me, and it's because I'm not like deep into the Dungeon and Dragons
right.
fan base, like I'm not like I've never played this game, but whenever I see it, it's like people kind of like expressing like some frustration about like not being able to like develop it and like keep it going to the point where it becomes like that that thing that it could be, where it's like this super nuanced, highly developed, like kind of strategy game, but also like a team game based in like another world that's like completely made up by everybody involved.
Well, it's limited by its imagination. It's like paper. I mean, obviously you could print out like maps and have like as much supplementary activity like material as you want, but
Yeah.
it's still just very much. It's still like imagination. You could have like you could spend a year drawing like planning out a campaign like so perfectly with all the maps and all the lore and all the different characters and flesh out different guys that come back later. 12 hours of play later, show up back again and loop back around. But it's still like some imagination. Like the dungeon master's got to provide a little bit, give a little bit of effort, and then the people playing got to buy in a little bit. It's all. It's just
You got to suspend your
it's
disbelief.
just imagine.
You
Yeah, it's
got
suspension and disbelief. It's like just it's imagination. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's never going to be like
to be
some
involved.
perfect nuanced thing, but I mean, you could let's say like if I was like like all right, be like the dungeon master, and we start playing, and then like I could have like you could like just like add on to like the story, and like what's going on. You could just start with like whatever this starter campaign is that came with my like starter pack set. You could just like take that and be like, okay, like our characters. All right, so like next week we'll come back and we'll have like a different story or something like that. Or I'm sure you can like there are websites where people have like you can like just like download like PDFs of like entire campaigns that people have put together or like older ones or like ones like Dungeons and Dragons has like put out in the past. You know, there's already, you don't have to make your own stories up. There's already so much like material and like free, like, just
Really?
content. Yeah.
You like riff on it. You know, it's like a kind of like a preset storyline. Like, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is like save the princess from the castle or something weird, like a
Sure.
Mario almost. Or and then the second thing is like a Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is essentially just Dungeons and Dragons, but where it's just one guy is every single character, and he's the writer, and then they're doing the Dungeons and Dragons fucking skit. They're doing the fucking play where it's like, okay, we got these guys together. They got these abilities, and they're going to come together, and they're going to do this thing together, and they have to do it.
Yeah. It's just
And so
like, it's
people come
just,
back and blah blah blah.
they all, it's like, I don't know. It's like, what's like, is there a word for like hero's journey, but with like a crew of like people? Like, like what's like that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's just the archetype. It's just like,
Yeah,
like Frodo's on a hero's journey,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and just like, and everyone who's like caught up in it and are like the major players, and just like we get like, they flush out the
Like
different.
King Arthur. King
Yeah,
Arthur was essentially just Dungeons and Dragons. I remember reading that book in high school
yeah,
and
yeah, pretty
like being
much.
like, none of this bullshit happened, dude. But it was like kind of entertaining, and like they're all like running around England getting swords, like getting abilities, getting new items, going
Yeah.
on quests. Like that's essentially what the game is about. Like if from what I can understand of it, like, but
Well,
you're like,
you don't have
there's
to.
like an element of,
You don't have to be. You don't have to. You don't have to be like badass warriors with and whatever. We
no,
could put. We could play
you be
like.
mobsters in like the 30s with Tommy guns and
Yeah,
shit.
in like New York City, we got a
Right,
big
the FBI
we got a big map
stealing
in we got a
robbing
big
banks.
map in New York City, and the thing is,
Yeah,
you guys are like we're like young like you guys are, like young the players are like young mobsters, and you're just living like like on the edge of like the city, on the edge of the city, and like this is where your hangout is, like right here. You can just like put a
yeah,
pin on the map,
home
and then just
base.
like, yeah, and just like, what do you guys want to do? And just add whatever you want to do. Just keep notes, take notes as they go through, and you just play like the god of whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go down here and hang out by whatever store. It's like, oh my god, Johnny like Torrio showed up, and he's got some rival gang or something like that. He looks at you. What are you gonna do? And you're like, okay,
Oh god, he spit on the ground before he came in, like
right. And it's like, oh,
Johnny
okay,
Vittorio's
right, and just like, oh, he
he's
saw you. Roll for an aggression roll or something like that, or
like,
intimidation or something like that.
yeah,
And just like, oh, you roll a 20, you roll like a 19. You're like, oh yeah, he's intimidated. He walked away. People saw it.
yeah.
You got your street cred went up or something like that. And just try to build your way up. Try not to.
Those were big. Those games, I remember playing those games. Like Newgrounds had a lot of those. Do you remember Newgrounds?
Yeah, yeah. I
You
remember
know,
Newgrounds.
you
Total.
had
They had those like little weird little like city little simulator whatever's, and they're just these little flash games where you'd have to just like do one thing until you get like better gear, and then you do something else for a little while. Yeah, there was this
that was
online.
those were sick, but like you didn't have like a crew that you were playing with, you know.
Yeah,
But essentially the same idea, you know.
yeah,
Essentially the same thing. I don't know. That stuff was cool. I don't know, man. I'm officially unemployed. So, I mean, if you wanted to do like the only thing like I've got like things that I do during my day, but like
I mean, I work during the day, Sean. I mean, I'm so,
you know,
I
you're
still have to.
still a productive member of society.
It's like I'm like no. It's like I'm a slave in my own home. You know how much time I spend just in this room. Like
I'm glad they
is that,
fired me, to be honest, because now I'm just like,
you have any idea how much time
yeah,
I spend here? It's crazy.
probably like the majority of
Of my life. Yeah,
existence.
yeah. And
Yeah.
You know,
Welcome
so
to room. Welcome to fucking rooms, John. Welcome to rooms. Like 99% of the human existence is spent in a room. It's
that's
weird.
it.
And when you strip all the trappings of a room away, they're all the fucking same. They're just like squares, like somewhat larger, somewhat smaller. Some like do specialty things, but you strip all that shit away, and like we spend a god awful amount of time in just a room. But
Yeah.
like certain rooms, you got to do certain things in. Like you got to like you can't wear your pajamas while you're doing fucking accounting. You know,
Turns out you
in
can.
that room.
It turns out you can. I try. You know,
Yeah.
I ran some tests, and it turns out, the evidence. I would say the jury's still. We're not. It's not a. We haven't got the official results yet by the lab, backed by the lab, but it definitely turns out you can do accounting in your pajamas.
What is that? He's like GABA or something. It's like generally accepted like accounting.
Oh, like Gap, yeah. Okay,
GAP. No, it's GAP. Accounting principles.
yeah,
It's like
generally
yeah, it's
accepted
like
accounting
you're gonna
principles.
ruffle GAP. GAP's gonna come after you, and woe betide the man who wears pajamas
Yeah,
and
Gap,
balances the book.
like Gap is, it's like big accounting. That's like their rule book.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, that's the big. It makes sense to like. I
Right.
was reading about bank runs. I was just looking at the bank runs,
So
and
yeah, just because
one
of
of
the
the strategies
times.
these banks will like employ when there's like a serious financial crisis is they want people to look like they are legitimately like
Solving.
professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a certain amount of believability there. So if you show up in your pajamas, you can be the best fucking accountant in the goddamn world. You'd be a goddamn genius. You show up in your pajamas, people are like, "This guy is not." He just rolled out of bed. He's not a good accountant.
So like,
Who
I don't
knows?
care. So like, I don't care how good of an accountant this guy is. When you're working with my money, put on some fucking clothes. Get out of your
Put
fucking
on some
PJ.
clothes, dude. What,
Wash your
your
fucking
dick's
face.
hanging out. Man?
When you're handling my money, get up, put some fucking, wash your fucking face and put your clothes on. What do you think who do you think
Total
you are?
bullshit, dude.
You think you're like the king of fucking Brunei or something? Where the fuck, like, one of these.
No, because he wears like funky ass clothes. You could be the new. This could be a great thing for people, you know.
I don't think so.
But
I think there's something
probably
to be
not.
said
Yeah,
about
that's probably.
looking like nice and clean and tight up when you're doing business. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with those sort of standards. You know what I mean?
No, I look sharp as a knife if I'm ever like working on
Right.
that with the public because it just works. People believe you.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
You
Yeah.
don't have to be. You have to know shit. You don't have to know shit. You just have to look like you are like you care about it. And you're like up to
Carry yourself with some confidence. You just gotta at least make.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I learned from sales. Like that is literally what I learned from sales. Is like people are gonna make some kind of split second judgment on you, and it's like too difficult to change their mind afterwards. But if the judgment is positive and you look the part, you look like you're professional and you're tidy, you shine your shoes, you spit shine them, you look fucking neat and well kept,
Yeah.
you
You figure
trim whatever.
this guy's got
People are
at
gonna
least,
believe that any bullshit you say. It's fucking wild.
take some effort to like keep yourself like to get a little bit of effort to keep it. Okay. Well, like. This guy's got.
There is that too.
This guy's You gotta. It's like an attitude. You gotta like carry. Like that's why like grifters and stuff like try to wear a suit
Effort.
and like snake your money because we know like I don't know top is
Effort transcends context, or people assume that. People assume that if you're putting effort into your clothes and your hair and your shoes and the whole upfront at the face of it experience, well, you must be putting effort into everything else, and you must be, people appreciate people who put effort into things. So you must be a decent person. You must have integrity. So therefore, there's a certain amount of alignment with, and I want to do work with you, or I want to do business with you.
business. Yeah.
It's fucking weird because it doesn't always work out. It's not always the case. It's not always the case. And there are, examples to that effect. But it's funny because people, if you were to talk to people about that and be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But in practice, when it gets played out, 9 times out of 10, from at least where I've experienced, that's what they rely on. It's like appearance. Do you speak well? Do you smell funny? No. You smell nice. All the sensory experiences, you're well kept, has an enormous influence
Well,
on how people are going to perceive you.
it's like stuff that you can
And then they're
control.
willing to.
If you can, it's put a little effort into stuff you can control, then people, think that you got a little bit more control over this whole situation.
It's an assumption. It's an assumption. It's not always. It's not like necessarily true that's like that
Right.
would be the consequence of that. Because then you get the snake oil salesman. One of the things that I see, so I is that pastor. I forget that pastor's name.
Passer?
That pastor. He's like selling like cure. He's not selling it, but he's essentially just selling it like cures to the coronavirus.
Oh, I think I know. I heard what you were talking about. I know what you were talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah.
Spick and span, dude. That dude's so clean looking. Like he's shaved up. He's got a nice clothes. He's got like nice skin from like the camera view. He like tells you what you want to hear. People eat that stuff up.
Yeah.
People eat it up. It's wild. It is fucking wild. What are you looking at? You look.
I was just trying to. So right now you're on over here, and this is kind of like towards the center. If I could put you here, it'd be closer to the. Looking more towards the camera, because like right now you're on like the side here,
okay.
and my camera's over here. I guess I can slide this one closer to this way. Well, that's better, but I don't know if I like it's far way to the left. It doesn't matter. I'm just talking to myself. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Dude, you're right. I'm not even looking at that edge of it because it's gonna confuse me. I'm gonna be like,
I know.
That's what I look like. I got it. I don't trust him. I don't trust that. No, it's funny though. Like that was something I like learned from sales like that, and like it's. People are more willing to believe a lie that's said confidently than the truth that's said with like demure or like with like with like a certain amount of like hesitation.
You're right. That's literally what the American media is.
And like it's wild. That is such a wild concept that like people are
at this point. When's the last time? What's the last thing they told you that ended up being true? Like anything.
I couldn't. You know what?
Have they been right about anything? Like
with this, in context of the virus, no, they've been actively trying to like misinform people, for whatever reason, but they have been, yeah. No, I haven't felt confident in the media. It's the disconnect became very apparent. I felt like there was the gulf grew, the divide grew, like in the last like couple months with this virus thing, like an actual crisis. We need the leaders to step up. We need them to be like truthful, honest, protect the people, blah, 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 do the right thing. And there was such a divide from like what I could find that seemed like reasonable, rational, and like evidence-based versus like what I was hearing on the major news broadcast systems. Right. It was wild. And then like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think in those situations. Like how do you respond as an individual in like society when it feels like the thing that like keeps you from just fucking being letting go of the wheel and putting your fucking pedal to metal. That thing that's keeping you from doing that is like in the background somewhere, and he just farther and farther in the back seat. And at some point, it's just like, it's not even an issue at this point.
Right.
I I've started to say, you know what, I'm on my own on this thing. What there was a saying back in like I think it was like World War One or I think it was like World War Two. The Americans is like I'm gonna paraphrase it, but it was like when in doubt, win the war. So it was like if you didn't have people giving you good information and you could tell that it was up on you. You had to win the war, man. And
Right.
like that that kind of approach has actually, you know, I don't have the coronavirus yet, and it seems like it's guided me well, but you know, it's hard to say. Do you have a mask?
I don't have
Did
any
I see you
masks.
playing with a mask?
No,
You don't
I
have
don't
any
have. I don't
masks?
have. I don't have any masks. I do not have any masks.
Were you thinking about getting a mask?
Um. Yeah. It's not a bad idea to have a couple masks around just in case. If anything got like real serious, I guess. But I'm not spending like a lot of time in like really crowded people like areas. I feel like a damp
Yeah.
cloth would suffice me for 20 minutes in a supermarket, like fairly well. But I don't.
That's the greatest thing that they did, you know. Yeah, that's true too. Like you're in your fucking you're in your little abode and you're in your room, nobody else there. You still hang out, get kind of fucked up, do whatever, and that does wonders for protecting us from contracting any kind of pathogen, some
Right.
viral spore. You know, it's really gonna like handle that problem pretty handily.
Yeah, like people
Um,
like I don't know. I just well, I guess like it's easy for me. It's easy for me to just be like fine with it. I have like a personality that's fine. That's I think handling it fairly pretty like well. Just being at home and
yeah,
like inside so much. I bought a computer like the day we went, like a couple days before we went on quarantine. Like and I work every day too. So it's like so I,
work is like
it's not like
work will keep you fucking growing
it's not
too.
like I'm just like home all day every day. Home all day every day. Before a good
Yeah,
portion of it, I have like something to do. I have some sort of like goal or like whatever. I have something like occupying my
purpose,
time. Is like I
reason.
guess is I
Yeah,
guess like the biggest thing. But
that's huge. That's like there's like there's a lot of like people in like concentration camps talk about like having little things that they do. We're not. I'm not. But like in extreme cases where you're
sure,
like
sure,
up
sure.
against the wall and you're like life and death situation, what do you do to like survive? You do little basic things that like give your life certain meaning, and they could be completely arbitrary in some cases or like meaningless on the in reality. But to you, they give you meaning, they give you purpose, they give you direction, and that like that is a powerful. There's nothing worse than just being like, oh God, I got nothing, and like being directionless, you know,
Right.
like a rudderless ship in the ocean, you know. You pick any direction in the ocean, at some point you're gonna hit land, but you gotta pick a direction. You know what I mean?
Right. You
At some
can't just
point
be
you're gonna find
drifting.
your
You
lane.
can't
You
just
get
be
lost in the
drifting
middle of
around
the ocean.
aimlessly. Yeah.
The worst thing you could do is just be adrift, I suppose. But if you pick a direction, you're eventually gonna find something. You know,
So it's actually
look at Marco Polo.
it's like it's like a French word term for that. It's like ennui. Do you know that word? It's
Oh,
like
I know
E
ennui. Ennui is a beautiful
N-N-U-E. It's like
word.
it's like
Ennui
it's
is my
like
favorite word in the dictionary.
it's like I
In
think
the
it's like I think it's
English
like
language,
it means like listfulness or like like it's like it's I feel like it's like
it means a lot of things.
yeah, it feels like it's like it's like it's not it's like an angst but more of like a like rudderless is the way I kind of like listful. I don't know. It's like listless or something like that. It's kind of, but that's
I
actually
mean,
That's actually a
You
word
can
that I really
boredom,
like. Boredom. Yeah, yeah, something like that.
boredom,
Yeah.
boredom, which is like an abnegation of like all value, where you're just ennui's a cool word.
Yeah, I think
It
it's
also
really
has
cool.
like certain like Stendhal wrote a lot about ennui in the red and the black, but ennui is ennui is my favorite word.
That's one of my favorite words too.
Ennui is a beautiful word, and it has like other connotations. It has like man against the immutable, which is like a form of boredom where you realize that you're up against this thing, you realize your own demise and your eternal valuelessness in the face of the complete whole of existence. Then there's like a man against the environment. You know, the immutable would be like God as
Right, right,
well,
right.
if you were to like give it a concept. But then there's like man against the environment, which would be like, I don't know,
A
you're
storm or a
up against
tornado or
like
winter
Moby Dick
time.
or some bullshit like that.
Right, right,
A
right.
storm, Moby, like a big animal, some kind of weird thing like that, where it's like it's alienating. It's alienating, and it strips you of the values that you had. There's always like ennui always kind of has this weird connotation of like an absence of value, which is really kind of just like put down in boredom. And if you've ever been like bored, it's like you don't have any direction, you don't have any value, you don't value anything. It's like, well,
Right.
what is there to value? I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. Then there's like man against man, and like how that gets played out. It's fucking. That is the. If you were gonna like one word and really think about one word for the rest of your life, ennui would be the word to think about, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I love that word. I think that's a gorgeous word. That's such a gorgeous word.
It's a good word.
It
It's
has
good.
like metaphysical implications as
Right.
well,
There's a
like
lot to it. There's a lot
spiritual
to that
state.
word. It could be,
Yeah,
yeah, cool. I like that word too, Sean. That's why I brought it up.
yeah, it's a
I
cool
don't know,
word.
and
Yeah,
5 seconds before I said it, I was like, I'm gonna say this word, and I bet it. I'm pretty sure I know this is a real
you
word.
shouldn't be telling people that word, John. You don't want to tell people that word. That was
Yeah.
part of the precondition, John. You weren't supposed to tell anybody.
Right.
I don't know. It was a joke. It was like I feel like that's a word that like you get to that word and you're like there's like something that happens if you can like really grasp it. It gets thrown around sometimes. I don't know if it's like really comprehended like what
It's like they have
what
like
the
it's like when you find out there's like a German word for like a certain feeling or something like that. Like what's like there's like the one for Schadenfreude or something. It's like when you get joy from like seeing other people suffering or something like that. Is like you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like yeah, like there was like some like German word for what it means a watch on a snowy afternoon or some shit, like some weird German word or something like that. But it's like that's
Yeah.
just like a French version of it that just happens to be like a different level. It's just a different level of word. Like these words have like some meaning. You get it. It's like, and then this is like there's more layers to it. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. No, I that's like I mean that I've had like a long attachment to that word. That's like that's a I don't know. It's funny because like there's been like but the French have like they take like the rationality of the Germans. Like the Germans have like like they'll put a concept on anything. They'll be like,
Right.
oh, okay, this is a word now. This is
They'll
a
map it
concept.
out. They'll figure out how
Put a
to
word on it.
manufacture it into very high quality. They'll just figure it out.
Yeah. We'll like reproduce this. It's
Right.
going to be very like efficient.
Very
It's going to
efficient engineer
describe things.
brains. Like, what you mean? Okay, yeah, we'll have it. We'll make it. We get this. This is what we do.
And the French just like do something else. They like make it sexy and
They
artistic.
just art
You
it
know,
up. Yeah.
it's a funny. Yeah, I can totally see why Germany wanted to capture Paris in World War II. They needed Paris. They didn't have Paris. They had a very austere,
Right. What was like the culture and
not
like the art that was like I'm sure they had some good painters or musicians or stuff, but it wasn't like free just like
they
beautiful.
had they had
Just
they had like a bunch of decadent like
It was like
pervert.
It was like it still sounded like scary, like just like German art. You know, it just sounded like you could. It was probably like there was something that was, you know, you couldn't put your finger on it, but that thing was that it was like it just had German on it. You know, like, you know what I mean?
A lot of like a lot of the mainstream state-sanctioned art during World War II was very like rigid and like lacked spontaneity or gesture. It was like this, like it was like a country trying to be like the greatest country in the world without actually like really being it. It was just like
Right.
so, but like in like the most like rigid terms ever. Like this is the best. This is the last country. This is the last society that's ever gonna happen.
It seems like what Germans like do is just like they're like, okay, oh, this we're gonna do this now, and then they just do it to the absolute extreme. You know, they're like smart.
Germans do some really good stuff.
Like smart, efficient people,
I'm
and then they have like this like there's something about Germans that they're just like, okay, we're gonna take whatever we do, and we're gonna take it to like the extreme, and they just like at one point, you know, and then at certain point it just got turned on to this like, you know, crazy hyper, like, I don't know, national.
That is like I agree with you.
You know, like
I look at
like,
dishwashers. Dishwashers. So dishwashers, German dishwashers. Germans make. So I you know this. In my last job, prior to being a gypsy, I was an appliance salesperson, and the Germans did some of the best appliances. And what they would do is they'd have like the basic appliance, and it would do all the functions, and then they would like take it a step further. Like with like one thing was like drying. I remember there was one. Miele was like a big manufacturer. It was like a luxury manufacturer in dishwashers. They had a drying system, and like a number of other, even some of the German systems. And it was just going to happen anyways. But they had this drying system. The stainless steel in the dishwasher or whatever would cool down faster than the dishes, and it would cause condensation to draw on the stainless steel. Well, great. You can dry your dishes. You don't even need to heat it or anything. It's just going to happen. Cool. That's fucking awesome, Germany. You're the smartest. Germany was like 9.
Right.
They come up with another system. On top of that, they start pumping in cool air from the ambient environment into around the stainless steel tubs. So you cool down even faster than that. And like that was going to then like improve the drying efficiency. And then it was like, wow, that was really fucking clever. Like, it was already pretty good, and like you didn't need to go any further, but you took it further, Germany, and you did it again. And then they came up with something else where it would like do that, but then it would also like measure the air like for humidity and like the temperature, and then it would automatically open the door when the drying cycle had completed to its like max efficiency, and then it would like increase the efficiency even further, like. And it's like almost off-putting. It's like, God, just like, fuck off. Like, just drive in the sun for Christ's sakes, you know.
And then that's what
like you're just gonna use it because you're gonna get wet again, like.
And that's what like 11% of Germany did with like nationalism and I don't know, some sort of complex coming out of World War I or something like that. And just, I don't know, mixed with some psycho crazies, some like top, you know, I don't know, you know, some top level like evil mixed in. They took the washing machines and
there's some weird stuff that was going on.
They took the washing machine.
It was weird because
and then they had like it
evolved.
Genocidal maniac at the top of that washing machine, you know.
Yeah. And he was riding the washing machine, and instead of washing.
He had dishes, he knew how good he saw the washing machine. He's like, if we could just channel this for the evil shit.
Murder all the Jews in this.
You know, if we could channel this for the evil shit that I want to be doing, not everyone else. How, you know?
That's terrifying, and that's kind of what happened. If you just like
Yeah, that's what
You
happened.
convinced me that that is exactly what happened. That literally there was just about washing machines. They were doing a great job. They were super efficient. And then somebody got in control of the washing machines, started killing Jews instead, and shit just got fucking weird.
like, like
Shit just fucking ran off the
they're like,
ran off the rail.
how about we make it bigger? We get rid of the water and up the heating factor. You
We use
know?
gas,
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. You know,
and that was kind of like what happened, and that was like that's where you get like a
just like exponentially gets crazier and crazier. Once like,
that's like a complete lack of values. You know, that was a complete lack of values at that point because you're just taking the raw system that like has inputs, outputs, input and like
right,
efficiency and like direction, and then just like diverting that like mechanism towards
like
something of the value of like killing
Germany
these
was
group of
probably
people or doing
making
whatever.
like way less cheese and way less beer at the time. They took like all
Yeah.
of that, like, they took like all of those like smart, efficient people, and like, oh, what do you think? You make cheese? No, you make bombs now, or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously not, but I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
They they do something. It's something weird too. I think it's sauerkraut. I swear to fucking Christ,
something with that
it
fermented
is
cabbage.
sauerkraut. Yeah, and like it's like some gut brain relationship that you get these like fermented, like cultured foods, and they're like just doing something weird to the brain, making it like very. I mean, it's good in a lot of ways, but like it gets weird. But that's like a weird fringe theory that like I've only ever heard myself espouse.
Okay.
It has absolutely like almost no basis in anything. You know,
Well,
like
I
it's
mean,
like a weird.
I think gut biomes definitely, can have like a big impact, at least like on my mood. From when you're like, if you've been treating your body like shit and you're just like not running at maximum efficiency, but if you get like some good like probiotics, or if you've been eating right for a while, once you start feeling good and you start like taking care of yourself, it becomes a lot easier to like feel
Yeah,
good and take care of yourself.
function in life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there
know.
was like a. I went through like a weird period where I was like drinking way too much,
Yeah, I've been there.
and it's like you just don't feel. I just didn't feel good.
Right.
I didn't feel like and it was because, but it's like a whole grouping of like things, and if you like, I
There's a
don't know,
big
it's
mental
strange.
aspect to you. The booze weighs on your brain too. Plus, like, just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
just
yeah.
like compounds. You just like, it's easy
I mean,
to.
it's fun, but yeah, it's easy to just like use as a crutch is
Right.
the thing too. You know, like it's like and it's part of it's because like at least my job, I don't know about all jobs, but at least my job when I had a job was required me to restrict myself and be in a point where I was like almost felt useless on a day-to-day basis, even though I was like supposedly contributing to society, but I like felt useless, and it just allowed me like a subsistence wage. And maybe I have like grand taste, but it felt like that. And like the days, and then I would like come home, and if I didn't want to like just die, you know, I just didn't want to wake up and go to work again. You know, like I didn't, and I didn't have to go to work. That was the weird thing. Again, it would only take like 3 hours to do about as much actual
Right.
work as I got done in that day. You know, it only took like 3 hours, and it was but I'd spend like 8 hours there. I had to get up early. I had to come
Right.
in, and like, and for what? And I'd like sit around for like hours and hours and hours and hours, and I couldn't like do anything that I wanted to do. I was on somebody else's time, and if I did anything that like I thought was productive, I couldn't play the piano. I
Right.
couldn't like write something. I couldn't like do anything that was like enriching to me. And if they saw that, they'd be like, "We don't want you to do that." But
Right.
like, okay, so I can do like bullshit shit, like cruise Reddit for like literally like 6 hours a day. I can just be on Reddit as long as it doesn't actually amount to anything. Then you're cool with it. I can play with my stapler and like twiddle my pens. That's like what it was.
Right, right, right,
Do
right.
you ever feel like that where it's like if you like there's so much free time and if you do something that's like bullshit meaningless, they're cool with it. But if you do something that's like improving yourself or like pushing something forward or like doing anything
Right,
meaningful, then there's a problem. But like you weren't going to be doing anything anyways in that time.
right. But
That's what I encountered
if
a
you're gonna
lot.
use if you can use any effort during that time, they wanted it to be on whatever they. I don't know. I don't know. I
But
hear you,
I've done
Sean.
all
I
my
agree. I
things.
hear you. I hear you. I hear
You
you.
see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that was the weird thing about it. It was like they were paying me to be the worst possible person that I could be. You know, like to just be like the bare minimum, you know, like, and they were like, that's what we want. That's what we want.
That's it.
And I was like, something like fucked up about that. There's something fucked up about it. This got
Yeah.
nothing to do with Germany, but
But yeah, Sean,
I
I
don't
hear.
know.
I know. I get what you mean. You know, sometimes it seems like every day is like the same day. You're like, what day of week is it? What time of month is it? It doesn't really like
Yeah.
matter. Is there really any distinction between the day to day? And that can like it gets like maddening. You know.
Yeah.
I think like I don't
Like,
know.
oh, it's night again.
There's
Oh, it's
something.
day again.
There's
It's night
something
again. It's
like
day
in
again.
men to like wanna contribute, you know, or like be a. People want to feel like they're contributing to something or like helping out or a part of or doing whatever, working with, they just like feel valued or like a
Yeah.
value, like where does
Yeah.
like self-worth like come from, and you like, people get that from other people. Kind
Yeah.
of,
And from like a feeling of
or no, not from other people,
putting
but
out,
like
like,
it could be you could live. You could be but you have like a garden, like see some sort of like
again.
fruits or like relationships or I don't know. There's something to be like
No,
intangible
I mean, that
fruits,
that was the thing that would save me. I mean, if I was like gonna say like what was the thing that would, like make it bearable, would be like the small interactions, like where I actually felt like I was just helping somebody do something that they needed help with.
Right.
That like made me feel good. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm like back on track. Because the day to day was like I felt like I could have been, you feel like you could be doing a hell of a lot more with all that
Right.
time. But they discourage it, like, and it's like it's not like they're okay with you doing like bullshit stuff. That was what I found. Like, there's a lot of like bullshit stuff that like on a day to day basis people are doing. Like that they, it's not like
Yeah.
doing anything
People
really.
who are spending hours a day just sitting at their office staring at just like an office space, just like
It's exactly like Office Space. Like, I don't know,
right.
making like office noises every couple minutes. Like,
Yeah, then just like
it's got nothing. It's
click,
contributing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just not doing that.
It brings nothing. It brings absolutely nothing to like the overall like good of humanity or like the good of the person. It's actually dehumanizing is the weird thing. It gets like completely dehumanizing. And then, but your life depends on doing these stupid, meaningless bullshit tasks that have absolutely meaning. Because if you don't do that stuff, you try to do something else, you lose your job and you're not going to be able to pay for your fucking life anymore.
If life was
It's
a video,
wild.
if life was a video game, like just like grinding would be so unbearable that I would probably stop playing.
Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, fuck this stupid
No,
ass
what the
game.
fuck am I playing this game anymore? Are you kidding me? I have to do what every day in this game? I want to go do the shit I want to do in the game. I'm just like, no, actually, you gotta do this.
Dude,
It's like, what do you?
yeah.
Like, actually,
Oh God, I gotta go.
I'm not playing this game. I'm not gonna play. I'm just done. I'm just done. I'd like a refund. Played for like 17
Yeah,
minutes.
please.
Played for like, a couple, 17 minutes or 20 and however long minutes.
Yeah. You got to pay me back for the time that I wasted playing this stupid ass game.
Right?
It's weird though. Like, yeah, like if it was a video game, like there would be no. A lot of people like live. That's now like the new reality for a lot of people. I feel like that's not uncommon. Like I don't feel like I say that. Like if I say that to other people, or if I like observe other people and what they're saying, it seems like that is how a lot of people kind of feel. You know, they're like
Yeah.
right on the like.
Well,
Maybe they're like some shade of that or something.
well, you figure like
It's weird.
all of our like I don't know like mannerisms or like habits and stuff like that, and our society is still very much set up for like pre-internet world. You know the way
Yeah.
people do stuff. You know what's like valued in terms of day to day whatever or skills or what's going and
Yeah.
it's just like a weird in between time where everything's going online, but I don't know. The like downtown,
But like they're
like the local downtown is still very much not the internet,
yeah.
But they
And
also
the
I'm
internet
saying-
is like way bigger than downtown.
But I mean, it's just like a different. It's a different feel. It's a different vibe. It's just a different it's different. I don't know. The world's set up for like all the cities and like the world and all our like the way people go to work and do all the stuff was set up before the internet. It was set up when people trains or were just cars were getting big.
You have to be there.
Commuting.
You have to be there.
You have to be
wherever
there.
you are.
Right.
You have to be to work.
Right.
How glad are you that you don't have to sit in your car every day and drive to work? Has that made a big impact?
It's actually pretty amazing because I can take my time getting up a little bit in the morning, and there's no and I don't have to deal with traffic. So I get like what I get like an hour and a half to 2 hours back every day, with plus all the getting ready.
That's
time.
a fuck ton of time.
Yeah.
It's literally wasted. Like that's wasted time. That's like lost. That's like inefficiency.
Yeah,
literally just like sitting in traffic.
Yeah, I know.
It's
stupid.
stupid. Stupid. Like there's some
on tape and stuff.
What?
Yeah, let's start listening to like more books on tape or something. That's right. My knee or something. I don't know. I don't. I just listen to sports talk radio. I just whatever.
No, like books on tape are cool. Books on tape. I haven't like got into like books on tape. I don't know. I haven't like. What's the last? I started. Last book I read. I read The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. I finished that book.
Okay.
And then I started reading Finnegan's Wake, and Finnegan's Wake was weird because you didn't like I was reading it one way, and then you read it a totally different way, and it'd be the same exact sentence, and then it would just like spiral out into like infinity.
Okay.
And I was like, what does this mean? It's like some like dude just talking to you in a thick Irish brogue, but like all the brogue words are like puns for like other weird like deep shit, and it like just gets like spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, and it's like and you're like, are you talking about God right now? Like, what are you talking about, man? It was weird.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, but like that was like if my manager wasn't at work, that's what I would try to do. But they had like done such a good job of breaking me down and like dehumanizing me that like I was like a lot of my time was just spent trying to slack off and do like bullshit stuff.
Right.
Like or like just like trying to like
just
wrestle
like
with myself to like
just like
reestablish my own existence.
Stuck in the matrix, just like day to day, every day, and you don't have time or like any like you're so like mentally drained and like like no one like
from doing bullshit. Nothing.
All your like enthusiasm. It's like it's like run by psychic vampires who are just draining off everyone's life force, and it's all just one big machine to feed. I don't even. Who the hell knows?
To drain your like every living breath.
Right, right. To just
That was like what it would
to
feel like, and I was
to
like,
suck your
why?
to slowly just suck your soul away. You know, just siphon up little bit of it, just you know, till you're
But
just like
for like nothing. Like oh, for like sitting in traffic, or like oh, for like sitting and like just being on the web, but like you can't like do anything really like directed and productive because you're like on the clock. But you can do like the bullshit stuff. There were people at my work who would just sit in the bathroom for like hours, hours.
yeah.
They didn't like get called. Like they kind of get called out at it. Like they'd just like sit in there. Like there was this one, the person I worked next to, just like sit in the bathroom for like 2 hours. We'd have to like bang on the door, be like, come out of the bathroom. Like, oh, I guess. Like, and she found the secret spot, like the place where like they couldn't touch you, just like the
Right.
bathroom. But like it was like that's the kind of stuff that like ends up being played. Like people know that like they're being watched, they're being like on the clock, and their life is like literally just in the matrix, and they like I don't know, they start I'm I'm cool with like the virus being around, man, because like get to pretty much just like chill, like hanging out, talking with you. Like I still get to talk with you, like hang out.
I think we're having a pretty good time.
It's not like it doesn't seem like it's for a lot like for people who I don't know, like has your life been like really negatively impacted by it? It seems like it's actually been improved by the goddamn virus.
There's actually probably a pretty good argument to say my life is better right now. You
Hmm.
know, like
It's better right now. It's just like you cut the bullshit out. Like
yeah.
you don't have to be sitting at an office for like 8 hours a day. You could do your 3 hours of work and then fuck all, man. You watch the Tiger King.
Well, if I got
It got done.
at this point, right? So if I would like connect my emails to my phone, right, for my work
Yeah.
my work emails
Yeah.
to my phone, then as long as I have my work done, then I can still monitor emails. I think, and I can like, right? This isn't really how I want to
Yeah.
like operate. This isn't really how I want to operate. I don't really want to put my work on my phone because then it's there, and I feel like
I would never want to do that because then that's their phone. They could be like, oh, this is our phone now. I don't
right,
want
or
that.
it's like
I
yeah,
might get like you might get a second phone. Like,
yeah. I'm not doing that. It sounds like a lot of work.
yeah,
Just,
no, I'm not doing that ever.
I could just like have like a laptop and check it.
Yeah. People would do that. Like, I've seen like people do that, and it's always like, what are you trying to prove? What are
Right,
you
I'm
trying to
not. Yeah,
prove?
right.
Like,
I'm not like going around with like my laptop in the backpack. Yeah, I'm out doing stuff. Let me just check this here. Right. You have Wi-Fi?
yeah,
Let me just check some emails.
yeah. It's like, dude, like people understand that they're like business hours and shit, and like most emails are bullshit anyways. Like 99% of the emails that I've like ever received, I'm gonna hold this like as like a standard. 99, it's
Yeah,
probably greater than that, are absolute bullshit. I never even need to look at. Like
I know.
it's an absolute fucking waste. It's just another time waster. There's like all these little games that we're all playing with each other to just waste each other's time and get fucking annoyed. You know, it's a rare gem where you can actually just I don't know waste
Yeah.
your time in a way that's like not doesn't seem like a waste. But like yeah, there are like tons of wasted times. I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, I think I
I gotta
might.
take a pee.
I think I might call it.
You're calling a night?
I think I might. Yeah. It's
All
it's
right.
almost
I talked to my wife.
it's almost
I talked to
11.
my wife. 1 o'clock would be the deadline. I said that'd be
Okay.
the latest I'd come in.
All right. I could probably do till 12. It's 11:30. I'm gonna grab
All right.
another beer. I'll do till 12.
So I'm gonna take.
I still gotta. I
All
don't wanna
right.
be up too
Sounds good.
late.
Sounds good.
Cool. I'm gonna grab a beer.
Let's check the feed, man. Is anybody watching us on YouTube?
Looks like we got one viewer right now. I don't know if that's you.
It is me. It is me. I'm gonna give that like a big. That's me. I don't know. It's worth it. People are missing out. I'm telling you.
You know?
All right, back to business.
Oh, man.
It's funny too. It's like people can now move faster than a car ever could. They can move at the speed of light through telecommunications and the internet. And yet, we spend so much time in cars going 60 miles an hour at the best, trying to get to places that we could literally be there. And I'm literally like in your room right now, John. I'm literally like with you right now. You're just traveling faster. Like I dare you to drive a car to my house. I dare you to drive a car to my parents, where I'm at my parents' house. This is going to take you way longer than it would than compared to this Zoom, which is zooming faster than it's like the speed of light. You know, it's fucking weird that we're like stuck in these like habits. They're essentially just habits,
Right.
and they're actually really kind of restricting society, and in some ways they're risky. You know, they're risky. Like with a virus, like
Well, it's
risky.
it's more fragile than you think. You know, something comes along that you didn't think would like disturb it, and then, you know, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
It's like not to bring up Germans again, but it's like Swiss. It's like some fine watch that's made, right? And like one grain of sand gets in it, and it just doesn't work anymore. You know, it's like so like intricate
and complex.
Or you know, Germany. You know, it's like pre World War One like European like treaties and stuff. You know, it's very delicate. You know, it's all there.
Well,
it works as long as it works. You know.
That was the thing about like some of the dishwashers. You know, it was like they would have problems like just right out of the box because they had like so many different systems. They did systems for everything, and they're like super complex. And what would end up happening is like, you know, they were all made somewhere overseas. They weren't like made exactly where they were consumed, and they would be damaged somehow by like, I don't know, somebody bump into them or something, or like dust or like weird shit like that. And I like heard that like the more complex, I don't know, it's something about like complexity and how it becomes things become more fragile the more complex they are.
Okay, there's like more.
If you have a rock,
there's more opportunities for something to go wrong if it all relies on so many different steps.
Yeah.
You know?
And like sometimes I feel like we're not even responsible for it, and then I'm like, fuck it, who cares? Like, and that's me being like affecting myself, you know? Like, we're all caught up in it anyways, you know? That's that's part of that like ennui, you know, like that sort of like dislocation from self. We're like, oh, you're along for the ride. Like that's been difficult to deal with as I suppose like a thinking being alive thing, you know?
What, like consciousness? Like, what are you? Like,
Of yeah.
You just like I'm. What am I? Am I just like bag of bones? Like, what's going on? You're definitely not.
Like some like. I would agree with you, but like sometimes I have doubts.
No,
I'm like, and it's not like doubts about me, but like me, because I'm like, I'm me though. You know, I definitely know I'm me. But when I look at like other, like my experience outside of myself,
people that I'm closest to, I'm like, you might not even be a real person.
You're fucking rocks. Yeah. You're like rocks getting like thrown down a hill or something. Like it's an avalanche. Like that's like something strange. Like for me, that's been. I feel like that's if I could say that I could even identify something like that, that would be something that would give me a I don't know, just make me question it, question everything on on that point. My
Right.
own existence, the existence of I don't know others. But I don't know. That shit's wild though.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because like ultimately we get caught up in the complexity of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It just seems. I think again, you know, and I don't know. It seems like everything shut down so fast. Like they just like
Yeah.
on Wednesday, the world was open, and then on Friday you didn't go to work because the world was closed. It like it escalated really quick. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's
It wasn't an issue. Like at least it's funny because there's like a lot of so what would you value in that? Like yeah, like it hadn't killed anybody. Like something my brother said. So my brother said like, oh well, it hasn't killed anybody that I know yet. Like essentially that's what he said. He was like, it hadn't killed anybody
it's not
that I
real.
know.
Yeah,
It's not real. Like not in my life yet. But
but it's having
maybe that's
effects
all
that will
people
affect your
bullshit.
life. It's still having effects that will affect your
Yeah.
life. Even if no one you know dies,
Yeah.
then you're still going through like all of this. You could lose a job or something like that, or it could affect someone that affects something else that affects you. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, it's like I'm just trying to stay alive too. Like I didn't cause this virus, like personally, as far as I can tell.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah.
like that was like something else. It was like it caught me like, what the fuck? Like it just like, and it had like an immediate impact on my life as it like scaled through the human population. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing those videos in China and just thinking like, wow, China is fucked.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. China does some like weird stuff too. China's like,
Yeah,
I don't
China's
know.
terrible.
That's
China is horrible. China.
China's not.
The Chinese government is like they're authoritarian, and then like they're are they fascist? They're like hyper authoritarian. It's not like
Yeah,
no one's talking about Hong Kong anymore, right? Taiwan. They still think Taiwan is part of China. They
yeah.
like
Yeah,
they.
no, they
You
do.
remember
Yeah,
when
and
they
it's funny
shut down
that
they shut down like a big like you remember them walking around these giant smoke machines through that city when they were saying when this coronavirus shit was like starting like a couple months ago. Do you remember those videos? And it looked like the
I didn't see
apocalypse.
those.
They have like their social
I didn't.
credit. They have their social credit scores. If you're on like the wrong websites, they might let you like buy a train ticket or a plane ticket. They might let like your kids go to like good schools if you were like on
Yeah,
the wrong websites. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, and they do have a lot of it is a lot of control, and it seems to be like centralized at least somewhat.
It's
You know?
100% centralized, Sean. It's a one party country. There's
Yeah,
CCCP, and that's it. And that's it.
yeah. It's like party or nothing. It's like you're either going to be part of the party or nothing. The party apparently it has like certain benefits.
Yeah, you get to
It
be
would
you get to
be
be the ruling party of China.
yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. They didn't certain things that they continue to do are like I don't believe that they're putting out their real numbers.
Of course not.
Do you believe that
No,
those
they
are
lied
real
about.
numbers
They knew about
or
this in
like
no.
accurate?
They knew about this in November. They knew about this late November or something like that.
Yeah,
and then it only
Or
became
at
a
least it
thing.
got like word got out. You know, word got
Yeah,
out.
I remember we started seeing videos online in like January, and then in late January,
Yeah.
I guess in late January they can't. The president shut down all travel from
Well,
China in January. So I mean, at least
yeah, and they
then,
shut down Wuhan as well.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
you think the United States was like no air travel from China at all. Like in January they
No,
said that because of this.
they might have said that, but they must have had flights because there are people coming back. There are people's like diplomats. They
Right.
still have
Okay.
flights. A lot of the diplomats have caught it. Like if
Yeah.
I think about, but they shut down Wuhan.
Yep. Yeah, it's
I don't
weird.
know, man.
It's weird. Like a
It's
lot of people
fucking
seem
nuts.
to a lot of like
They did shut
a
down
lot
the
of
travel to China,
prominent.
but it already escaped too. It's like a
Right.
global hub.
Yeah.
It already got out on the fight, but they didn't tell anybody about it either.
Right.
That's what. That's
Right.
where I'm like, wow, that's where you fucked up. It
Right.
wasn't that like this. There were already the viruses coming out of these like
They tried to
there was
hide
like
it, and
COVID.
because they tried to hide it, it spread. That's it. That's what happened. That's what they tried to keep it hush hush, and they didn't. And then
Yeah,
they didn't share any of the information about what was going on, and then it spread. It's not a good thing.
and then
The
it
Chinese
yeah.
government seems terrible, and they're like always doing this kind of this. And they were like sucking up all. So they own like they own like a piece pretty much of every company in China. They run it. They run China. You don't just get to be like
Who?
a rich
Well, oh,
the Chinese government, the
all
CCCP,
right. What
whatever.
state? It's the state.
The state,
It's the
yeah,
state.
right, yeah, but the state is a one party
I
state.
guess.
It's a one party state.
Yeah.
There's no opposition. Name one
The
guy
the
who's
state.
who's in China. Name one guy. Point out. There's none of them. There's none of them.
Xi Jinping or whatever.
Right. Right. I think
That
like
guy. But then
I don't know.
what's
And
up?
they make like 95%, 98% of like the medicines for this country, and like other stuff we end up getting from over there, like equipments and stuff like that. And I just think like no one thinks China's on our side. Does anyone actually think China is on like they care, like they're not out for global domination? The long game, isn't it?
No, I mean but I see that with like all the powers are doing that. Like sometimes they'll do aggressive things. Like as the government, they also are very authoritarian, which I personally I don't like authoritarianism. Um,
Yeah. You and me both, Sean.
right?
Yeah.
Good. Like, some people don't. I mean, they don't like it, but they're just like in that situation. I feel like sometimes I'm in like this. You're in the matrix, and it's like, oh, okay. You get information, like people tell you things, but the the Chinese government, what? I mean, were they going to just say it was somebody else?
No, they could say
Like,
if it did come from if it did come from some market, hey, this thing came from some market. This thing's getting crazy. It's, everyone listen to us. This shit's getting crazy. Like we, it's spreading. This thing is spreading. Hey, we can't let people just fly all over the world. Hey, you can't leave here and fly around once they like a certain
an announcement of
there was a certain point where someone looked at someone else and goes, "Don't you dare! If you fucking tell anyone, they're gonna kill us. Don't tell anyone about this." It definitely was. Do you think they don't? I don't
they
know.
ended up. Oh yeah. Well, they threw some of the doctors
Some of those like whistleblower doctors end up
in
disappearing.
like into the like jail or whatever.
So I don't know. So I don't know like where
Because
I
that
feel like
was
I feel like I've heard this like in a couple different places. seen a couple different places. I don't know where this number actually comes from, if it's real. But they say like cell phone companies over there are like tracking like somewhere between 10 and 20 million less cell phones that have like been shut off, or people die and their phones just the batteries just die and then they're just off and they're not they've like lost like 20 million points of data coming in.
What, and suggest that like actually 20 million people had died?
Well, I don't see that's the thing. I don't know like if I can't remember exactly who put this like stat out. I'm not making I don't think I'm not making this up. This isn't a John Pappas original like make up story. I just heard that like cell phone companies or something like that were saying they're tracking like 20 million less cell phones like in that area across whatever that area is in China. They have 1 billion people, so it's not like we have like
That
countries
could have
like
been like,
that's a lot. That's a shitload of fucking people.
there's a lot of people that moved out
Mm-hmm.
of China or no longer have cell phones there. And I don't know where they are. There's no accounting as far as I know, as far as where that is.
Right. Well, sure,
They could be
sure.
fucking, they could be anywhere, which is at any way I think you look at that, if that's true, and 20 million people, they're just not tracking it, whatever the fuck that means.
I think they mean.
Or they're not
I think
seeing
they
those
mean the
people
people are
coming.
dead. I think they
That
mean the people. I think they mean the
could be
people
mean
are
they're,
people
it could.
in
It
this
could.
whatever however big area whatever in China, like whatever the major
Yeah.
cell phone companies are. China cell phone 1 and China cell phone 2. We're tracking you no matter what you choose. So
Yeah.
so God knows if those numbers are real though. But I had heard something like 20 million like cell phone like blips like points a day. You know what I mean? Just like cell phones that were tracked. Cell phones
King.
that were
King.
on
Yeah.
the network just went out like or like have like gone out over the past whatever. So I
So
don't
do you
know.
think they died? I mean, what, were they killed or did they die of the virus?
I think they think like people are like dead and like virus numbers and stuff like that, and then also just like China just doing like shutting it down and like bolt. You see, they were like locking people like they like bolt from the outside doors like closed like in their like places, and they were just like we're gonna ride this out. God knows how many people just like died, like and then just they're not like telling you about like all the bodies they're pulling out. It's not like I thought it was weird that we were getting so much video out of China when usually you don't get like that much like video like out of China. I feel like.
A lot of them have like some of them. So some of them have, I think, VPNs and stuff. But I do wonder. I guess it's like I don't even know. That's you don't see a lot of. I saw a picture of people standing in front of what looked like a funeral home or something, waiting for the ashes of supposedly their dead
Right.
loved
So
ones,
they got
relatives.
saying like something about they got like hundreds of thousands of urns like just like going for whatever like at whatever being order made or something like that.
But it's weird because they don't like list the various different places. They like use like a photo of like a bunch of people. I've seen an article
Right.
like that.
Right. Or like you see one time they like in the last like 2 weeks they used some video or some picture of like the worst hospital in Italy, and they tried to pass it off as like some hospital in the United States. And it's just like what are you people doing? Like we don't need like people trying to like instill more
Confuse
fear,
and misrepresent.
induce fear, and just
Yeah.
like Like there was no need for people to go crazy and buy all the toilet paper. There was absolutely zero need. There was zero need. Absolutely zero need. And people went crazy for all that toilet.
I bought one like a week ahead of people. I bought one big thing of toilet paper,
And you're like, yeah, I'm good.
and I
I'm
think
good
I've
for
used
like
like
I'm good for like a fucking year.
two or three rolls.
How long is that? Like how long is like 24 rolls of toilet paper? Is like that's
I don't
that's a
just,
year, right? First of all, these so
I'm
many of these people, Sean, so many of these people would they'd be dead before they shit that much to use all that toilet paper. What are these? Some of these like the most not living long if the world went to shit people had like 10 years worth of toilet paper. It's like, what do you think you're gonna do with all that? You think you're gonna how long are you gonna like? You know what I mean? Think that's gonna be like
I
your
don't know. It seems like intense. Do you sell it? I think that's what like some of those people were thinking. It was like I see everybody else buying. They're like some people who are buying. Maybe they just toilet paper. That seems like a decent enough idea. I'll stick with that. They buy a bunch of toilet paper. They see other people doing it. Then some other people see those people doing it. Then they're like, okay, maybe I could buy it and sell it. Maybe there's like a demand for all this toilet paper. That or just like people take way more shits than I can account for.
I don't know, man. I don't.
Like they're just shitting like I don't know, man. Like it served no purpose whatsoever. I got some like in very worst case scenario, hope for the best planning. I got like respirator mask with
Yep.
like some filters. I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
an extra one. I've got glasses, goggles. Like we've got all these like weird. I have
Yeah, some just
food
protective
that
gear.
like is
Yeah.
non-perishable.
What's
Yeah,
that?
but it's like you you plan for it all. It's weird. Like I fucking lost my train of thought. But toilet paper
Yeah. Some people are just like
and like large
opportunists and
quantities.
try to like see a chance they think they can make a buck and then just like go like yeah I'm gonna buy a shitload of this. You know?
You know what they like? That seems like such a. I don't know why. It's like your fucking ass. Like, dude, you could literally just like use a couple shells or something. You could use a bidet. Like, you could use anything to wipe your ass. Like, yeah, I see where you need like toilet paper, but like that was the thing that you were worried about. And like for that long, like what about the food, dude? You're not going to be eating it. Like, how you didn't buy food? You bought that much toilet paper. It just is like such a strange, like ass centered. I'm like, some is this like some weird, like anal explosive, like Freudian, like
So like
societal
weird, yeah. Well,
phenomenon where like people say, oh, I just got to take a shit. Like, what do you? That's
hey,
I don't know.
it's a fact of life no matter what. And so we just decided that we're just gonna if you gotta wipe your ass, you wanna do it with some soft cotton tissue, you know?
But like to completely misunderstand like how much toilet paper you could
Right.
conceivably use in a lifetime.
Right. Right. What kind of shits are you taking? Like, what are you doing? What do you think this is?
What do you do? Are you embalming people? Like what are you doing with all that toilet paper? Like what is your strategy there?
Listen,
What's your angle, bud?
if they
Are you
don't
gonna be like the toilet paper czar?
if they like never produce another roll of toilet paper like ever again, like that's how crazy things got. How long do you think it would be before people were just killing people for toilet paper? If they wanted, if that's what they wanted, if that's actually what they wanted, obviously you kill
A
them,
billion years.
you take
I don't
you
know.
take their
Few seconds?
non-perishables and you take their gold and their guns, you know, their women or something, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like toilet paper is not going to save you. You know what I mean?
I like that wasn't my first go-to for the solution. Like that piece of the puzzle, like that, like something that's gonna fit into like toilet paper.
Right. That's
That was
not.
gonna be
It's not
your
gonna.
grand
It's not
strategy.
gonna save. If shit goes down, it's not gonna save you. You still get fucking macheted.
when I see people like with that much toilet paper, they always strike me like they're completely lost. Like
Right.
they just like happen to have a cart. Like nobody and like who told them to get all that toilet paper? Like did they come to that conclusion on their own? Was there
No,
like a
it was like the media ginned it
grand
up.
tell?
Yeah, it was
What?
had to have been like somehow like the media got it in people's brains and just pushed. You know, I don't like how else does it collect? It's like a collective. It was like
Sure.
it's a It's like a mass.
Bounty.
It's like a mass hypnosis. It's like a. It's like
Sure.
this. It's like this giant ultimate. Like just like spell. I like this like this. I don't know. They run them like they run. I don't. Six companies run like they like most of the media. Is what it boils down to, as they say. It's
I heard
crazy.
that. I didn't know if it was true or not. I shit my pants.
That's what they say.
Oh,
That's what they say.
Christ.
Sean, the Queen of England has two sons that have pedophile best friends. Have had pedophile best friends.
There's Prince Andrew. Isn't he like
Yeah, he's
I don't
like
know
best
how
buddies with that with
he's
like
a
is like Epstein. He's like hiding out. He's not cooperating at all. He's not. No way. You know.
Epstein?
No, he's not. He's
Isn't he isn't he dead? No.
no.
Who are you talking about now?
So there's like Prince Andrew, who's like friends with Jeffrey Epstein,
Yeah.
and
Jeffrey
then
Epstein's dead.
Jeffrey Epstein's dead, sure, but Prince Andrew's not dead,
Okay.
and they're like good
No, he's
friends.
not dead yet.
He's not dead yet. And then also um, Prince Charles, who was married to Princess Diana, was like big friends with this guy. It's like Jimmy Savile or something like that, Salvo or something like that, and he had a children's show on the BBC, and it turns out that he was a big time necrophiliac pedophile. And he's like hanging out at the royal. He's hanging out with like royalty. He's just like, how do you go from being like a kids show star to like best friends with like royalty and like at the parties and stuff like that? And, oh yeah, and then eventually it comes out that this guy was necrophiliac pedophile.
What does that even mean? He was like killing children
I
and
think he liked
having
to have
sex with
sex
their
with
dead
dead
bodies?
kids. Yeah, probably. There was probably some sex with them before they were dead too. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't know. Not. I don't
I
know.
totally believe it at this point. It seems plausible, and I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy that seems totally rational. Like I have nothing that would like. It seems within like the scope of possibility. I don't know. I've never been to one of those parties, but like, and so I just saw something online. I literally saw something. I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's far more widespread and it's like out in the open in certain circles than I'm aware of in my own physical experience. Like it almost seems like it suggests that like Bill Clinton like went on a ride on the Lolita Express off into the fucking wherever. A couple of times he didn't bring anybody with him.
Dozens of times, tens of times. God knows how many
Business,
times.
you know.
Yeah, just for
It seems
business.
disgusting.
Listen, Sean. Oprah. All right. So Oprah.
Where's she
Oprah,
been up to?
Oprah opened a school in Africa for for whatever young girls, right? And then it came out
Yeah.
that they were like pimping. There was like some pimping out of young girls going on at this school, and it was like, oh my god, I had no, I didn't know. I paid for, I financed a school. I wasn't sure. It won't happen again. All right, won't maybe that happens one time, right? All right, maybe, okay, and then ends up happening again. It ended up happening. It was another scandal with like one of her schools in Africa. And then she was like best friends with this guy from Brazil, John of God, this like life guru yoga guy. and then it came out that this guy had hundreds, like hundreds of like underage girls like locked up in like some like farms of like it was a top level international pedophile arms dealer. This like John of God guy that Oprah was like promoting, and you know this is like this guy became was like someone she was like talking highly of for like a while, and it turns out and there's like weird pictures of like her like handing like there's a couple weird pictures online of like Oprah, some young girl, and like Harvey Weinstein, and just like it just like how does she does not know that this is and it just looks like I don't know it just it's a it's, and then you find out like R. Kelly's doing it, and you find out there's that remember that NVXT or something like that sex cult those that we heard about in Hollywood where they're like branding people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my,
NVXT.
something like that. NXIX. I don't know, something like that. Something I can't remember exactly what the letters were, but this stuff is all over
Sex
the
call.
place.
No, sex call.
This
It
stuff is
wasn't safe for work.
yeah, definitely not. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it. I think that shit is definitely widespread, and I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, someone does something about it. I don't. It's like I don't know. It's like this web of like blackmail that like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? Because it used to be right. It used to be if you were they wanted to like blackmail you, they just get some girls, right? They get a picture, they get a photograph of you with some girl getting frisky with some girls, you
Are
know.
you so wait, so you there's a possibility that these photos are fake or that
What photo? No, I don't think. No, I don't think any of the photos. I
that
know.
they were taken.
Nothing that
You
I
you
think I'm
don't
talking about is that I just said is fake. What I she really did have schools with where they were pimping. They found out they were pimping out young girls. She really did promote this guy John of God, this Brazilian guru, life guru, yoga something, whatever guy, and he
like
did
on Twitter.
no like in person, like on a show, like with her power that is Oprah, with her with a whole like apparatus behind her. You know what I mean? Like
What was
oh
he? What like as like a sex pervert? Like as a
no
sex trafficker and like
no, she
morphine?
promoted
Like
him as like a
like a
guru guy, a
guru?
good guy. Like check this guy out. This guy's got a he's a life coach, like Brazilian like yoga guru guy. It's cool. Like check like she promoted it, and then it came out. It didn't when she was
Came
promoting
out like
him
where?
in like the news. It was like
Was it
he
like
got like
this really
like
happened? Like
some he was like busted like some like facilities or something, some like sting or something like that, and he had
that's
like
crazy.
mills of like underage like children for like whatever whatever you
Do you
have
think
like.
Oprah participating in like sex
I'm saying Oprah has.
wild orgies, like
I'm saying Oprah.
child murder orgies?
I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't know. I think that the Queen of England, like,
Courtney Love fucking knows about it.
okay,
Courtney Love fucking knows about it. If anybody knows about it, I feel like Courtney Love has her like fingers on the pulse of like that whole fucking thing. She like dated some dude who like was tight
Kurt
with
Cobain, yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh right.
No, like well Kurt Cobain, but Kurt Cobain fucking probably saw what was coming and I don't know, jump ship or something.
Uh,
But
maybe that was like
Courtney Love,
Maybe that was like Courtney Love's like sacrifice to get into the club. Like if you went into the club,
Courtney Love is not in the fucking club. I feel like Courtney Love is, or maybe she's trying to fucking straddle the fence. Who the fuck knows?
maybe no
Like Courtney Love.
lower levels. Obviously, she's not. God knows who's on like. Like
She has said stuff about,
she's not
from
on
what I
like
can
she's not on
tell
like
up
Clinton's,
online,
Epstein, British royalty, Harvey like Hollywood royalty.
Weinstein,
You know,
Oprah
like
connection,
it's not like
Nexus.
Bill Cosby. You know, like it's not like these are like the top. These are the top people in these are the top people like in the world across all the fields, and they all of them. These are the top most visible, most famous. Like these are the front men, like the faces of all, like so many of these, like the top of so many industries, and these people are all. They just all turn out to be the most evil
David
people.
Carpenter, I think. There's some fucking magician who's involved in it
Sure.
too. He's like, it might have been David Carpenter.
Kevin Spacey, like three
Who
people
fucking
have accused him of like getting weird, and I'm pretty sure two of them have killed themselves. Killed themselves.
What the fuck does that mean?
Uh, It means
What
that
does that mean?
it means that
Like,
it means that at least two people accused a guy of getting weird with them in like I guess I'm thinking like sexual assault. I think a sexual assault, like overly aggressive ways or something like that, and they ended up dead. That's it. All we knew. And then there was no trial. There was no one's complaining. You know, complaining that someone died, but they supposedly killed themselves. So what do you mean? You know?
it's you would think that with all these fucking people, that there's like some kind of sex cult, or at least like it's out there. The thing to do would be try to like pretend you're a billionaire,
Pretend you're a
and
billionaire.
then or like some like wealthy dude, and then like weasel your way in and like
Yeah,
blow the whole
but
damn thing up.
you have to be the billionaire to have. You can't just like weasel your way in. You know, it's not like you have to show up in your own private jet with your own bitches and your own like $1 million Rolex and and you have to bring
We gotta know the bitches, and the bitches know pimps. Pimps knows
with your own slaves to kill.
bitches.
You know, you have to bring you show up to like one of those parties. You got to be bringing your own like children to your own like you better like whatever people to torture. One of these weirds. You know.
Sadomasochist or
Yeah,
something.
you can't just
But
pretend your way in there. It's not like the closest thing to that
that'd be pretty fun.
is like Alex Jones sneaking into Bohemian Grove is probably the closest thing to like
Okay,
pretending
so
your
I've
way
heard
into
about
something
this
like
like
that.
Bohemian Grove, and they have like I've seen a video
Right. I probably think
of
I
what
might have
goes
showed
on
you the
down there.
video of this. I might have showed you the video, but
What?
yeah, he snuck.
You're not sure?
They he like snuck in with a camera, and like that's like the only footage that's ever came out of there. There's no like that's like the only footage that ever came out of that I know of. You know?
I've never seen anything like it. As far as I know, it hasn't been like explained. It's not like, oh, this is like a play. My like
Yeah,
my
that's pretty much
daughter,
yeah.
she was like fifth grade, and like she put on this play about like lizard fucking prayer, people running in caves and shit, and like
Burning effigies of like
birds
people,
fucking
like weird stuff.
whatever that is, like people in it's weird sacrificial rites, secret societies. The fucking thing that makes me like, what the fuck happened to JFK? And what the fuck was he talking about with like secret societies and all this shit?
Who knows, man? Maybe he like sold his soul to get to that position, and then he decided that even though it was like he had sold his soul, that he couldn't go through with it, and then tried to go against the grain. It's like the secret investors. Like it's like there's like these guys in like these characters in like the Venture Brothers, and I think also in like Metalocalypse. They are these like shadowy. They're almost like these like vampires, and they just like it's like who you like when you sell your soul to the devil. They're the good guys in the suits who show up and just like have the contracts, and they're just like the business side of like that like evilness. And
Yeah.
I I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I think like
Well, there's just
I
like a
think
bunch of people who are like really fucking evil. You
yeah, who
know?
have like gotten to the top, or like if you were like like some like yeah, just some all like essentially like all powerful. If you get like billions of dollars in like company and whatever, all these places all over the world, like these people, what kind of life what kind of like it's not like it's just how do you I don't
They
know.
become depraved and like out of touch.
Yeah, depraved is a good word for it. You know,
Depraved and out of touch, man. Like where you have fucking you're gonna murder children and
like
have
I don't.
sex with their dead bodies. That's depraved and out of touch, dude. Like what?
Yeah, it's evil. It's like
Why?
just evil. I don't know. Maybe so
Fuck if I know.
they say these people are trying to something about like the sacrificial energy, and like it's like to like a god. They used to sacrifice like a lamb or something like that. Some people, some crews wanted to sacrifice like people or children or women or something like that. You know, and like I don't. I like at like these like super top like 1,000-year family like lineages and stuff. Like there's got to be some like old like dark art like secret stuff going on in these castles. In these places, and these people have this crazy kind of money. They own like multiple like like there's like descendants of like royalty in Europe still are the people running like the EU, like rich people in Europe that run everything. They still like own everything. And they're still like this like the super like wealthy like just like different species of like people. Yeah, I don't you know what I mean? Coming from like just like generations of just like being in that kind of wealth and that kind of what that kind of what that
I see Americans like I see America as having something intangible. It's like a gypsy almost. It's like an American gypsy
well, it's got that like a free spirit.
that
It's got a free spirit. Lady Liberty, Lady Justice, she's got like she's got a wild side to her, and that's kind of it's part of it,
yeah,
you know.
that is part of it. Like I see that as being like a liberating force because that seems so like stuffy, like you really got to be tied up your ass to want to have sex with dead children. And like,
Well, I would imagine that it's not like some they think like they get in like some sort of like some like power from it. Like it's a sacrifice to it would be like a sacrifice to like the gods. Like whether or not
this
they
feels like quasi
what
religious. Like that
one
seems
oh
like,
one
you
no
know what I
yeah
mean?
100 no
That's
100
like
I would
worship,
imagine
like
100 I would imagine
priest.
100% definitely definitely
It's a religion of power, like that's like look at that. You know what the thing is? Like that's weird. Like it's like how metastasized the Catholic Church is.
yeah, but it's like
Like, 'cause they do all
above
the
the
same. They
cat.
have like that
It's
whole
a it's
fucking
like
secret.
the Pope. Yeah, I don't know. The Pope is this guy's not good. I think the Pope drinks baby blood. I think the Queen of England drinks baby blood. I think a lot
They
of
have to know about it at that
I,
point in those in those like in those systems where you didn't know that like everybody was fucking having sex with the altar boys. Like you didn't know about the child sex rings. I'm telling you, man. If they have a big one, they have a small one. You start introducing yourself, then maybe you become an agent, maybe you become a factor, and all of a sudden you're in the midst of the cabal, and people are having sex with dead children, and To
Yeah.
me, that sounds fucking terrifying. That whole Jeffrey Epstein opens up a can of worms
Yeah. Sean,
because
it's
he's
huge.
literally tied to Prince Andrew, British royalty.
To a former president, to there's like there's pictures of him with like the last like five presidents. There's pictures of him with those guys. Like the current and last like five presidents. Since like president was elected the year I was born. And since
Which
like
president?
H.W. Bush. And like since then, there's like pictures of like him and like definitely Clinton and is it pretty? Yeah, and like he just has known everyone. He's been at these in these like top circles forever, forever, forever. You know, decades. It's how did no one know, right? How did and knew it? No one knew. It's like we don't really know. You know, Bill Cosby's just doing this. We don't really know what's going on. We don't really know what's going on. And you know, and that's like stuff that's like we think of like we're talking about like England and like the United States. Like what we hope or what we think are the most like hopefully like not killing children like countries you'd hope, right? There's like we think like there's some sort of rules or we have like some sort of society you'd think, right? It's like it's not you know like I imagine if these like people like that's why like Jeffrey Epstein has his own island or that's why they're like sex tourism in like Southeast Asia like exists is like people who go to like Southeast Asia are like white women who want to take pictures with tigers and like perverts who want to like abuse I don't know young lady questionably aged like lady boys or something like that ladies I don't know I don't know I don't know I'm just saying I don't know
Yeah, I don't know. There's certainly spots where it could just develop and go unnoticed, and I don't know.
yeah
It's I don't
they
I
say
believe that
they say
there is such a thing. There is such a market. There is a market
like
that
hundreds of
is.
thousands is there there's like hundreds of thousands of like under 18-year-old people like just through like foster care and stuff like every year like go missing some shit like that
How many?
we call it like runaway I think like hundreds of a hundred I think there's like 500,000 like missing kids a year some shit like that that's not true that's crazy I'm gonna look that up for next time I'm gonna write that down
Globally, I mean that one.
oh yeah okay I guess but I guess maybe
I mean,
more
don't. I mean, I have
actually
no idea.
where would they how would you even get those numbers from most of the world you could really only get those numbers you know what I mean from
Hey, surveys like do. I mean, you're not going to get the. What are you going to ask? Like some weird, like third, fourth party
yeah in
adoption
some like other
agency
country where
working for
like
some fucking
they don't have
country somewhere
infrastructure like how
in
do
the
they
country.
know how many kids they have you know like how many people go missing for real yeah who knows though who knows
I mean, you can make an estimate, I suppose. You could, I mean, reported.
right
Somebody would have to
and
report
where
that
would you even
shit.
get like
Somebody would have to tell you.
I don't know man
I don't know either. It doesn't seem like implausible. You call them runaways.
or stuff yeah and then it's just off the boat off the system and see what you know who knows at that point right
Estimated. Like people throw out numbers. So
drugs
say it was 100,000. Say it was 100,000. Where'd they go?
in the United States yeah like I guess a lot maybe like drugs get a lot you know like what did they say like 50,000 people die every year of drug overdoses something like that
Died like a homeless person or something. Like
homeless
you could
people
just die in
who
the street.
who knows how long someone could be like a homeless person for a decade and just be like in a completely different part of the country and just like who the hell even knows right or
I mean, you could rule out. You could get like you could probably get like a number.
Right.
It would be vague. Like that's like you rule out. Let's say you rule out like murders. You're no longer like an account murders like
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
children like under the age of like 19. Let's say let's like
Well,
be like in certain like foster care under the age of 19. Like they didn't
what?
get murdered. You
18,
know
eight,
that.
at
Like
18
they
you're an
didn't.
adult. There's no under 19. It's under it'd probably be like 17, you know? As far as like the age group for these kids, these people like young kids, like children, or like minors, I think is not sure what the
It would depend where they were. Like probably it would probably have to like get some kind of like you'd have to set the baseline regardless. Okay, they're children, but they were like hospitalized. Maybe there was like developmental issues. Who the fuck knows?
right.
If I was gonna try to like actually get a number, I would like look at people who are like in see if I could get any numbers. I'd like survey areas, like give like a margin of error, assign like some sort of like weight to it, of like okay, how many murders were people in who were known to the adoption agency under the age of like 19 had spent, at least some time in adoption, weren't like permanently adopted, and were like murdered or like known to be like deceased from drugs,
Right.
then like
Yeah, you can whittle it
missing
down.
person.
You can like whittle it down.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
100,000 doesn't, that seems actually to me like people who that doesn't like, that wouldn't like surprise me at this point.
Well, you figure like
They're like
forced
70. I don't know how many
like
million people
forced
there are.
sex work or like child sex. I don't even know. What's the like lifespan on someone like that too? Like it's like it's got to be probably a lot of like turnover rate. I don't know. So like I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of perverts in a lot of high positions. Is all I'm saying. And it seems like they've been around forever, and it seems like It seems like everyone kind of knows about them too. And
The Marquis de Sade wrote about it. I mean, it's sadomasochism, and it's something that doesn't get talked about. It's funny, Jeffrey Epstein though. Like Jeffrey Epstein, that's interesting. Like, is it absolutely nothing? But like, what would be the scheme to like place that on them? That would be something as well, I guess. But because that would be a whole fucking another scheme. You're trying to fucking get all these people to believe that these people were like child molesters and stuff.
well,
But
I
there
mean, it's
seems to be like significant evidence that these people, like some of these people, are certainly like
yeah, no, like he's
there's a lot of
seems to be a lot of allegations and a lot of I don't know, a lot of interesting information, just like stuff that's going. Seems to be tied to a lot of big names, and he dies. It's just right for it's such like an ultimate conspiracy, and I don't know. It seemed like it just got brushed under the rug. This guy died. Like this was a real. This was a real person. This is like ultimate everything. Super elite pedophile trafficker, sex trafficker. Like who the I don't know. I don't know. His own island. He's got he lives in a house that he got for like $1 from the guy who owns Victoria's Secret. It happens to be like one of the biggest houses like in New York City, like as like a standalone, like a one person like residence house. It happens to be like one of like the, it's like it's probably it's like worth like I think it's worth like like $70 million or something like that. Got it for pretty much. You got it for like free. This guy was like a school teacher at one point. and at like a good maybe who knows, he might could have worked. He could have been like CIA the whole or like some like Mossad or something like that, you know, or like who the hell knows? I don't know. I don't know, man.
There was there was some there was some king. He was like a I don't know if he was like he was in the Middle East. He was like a royal or something, and he was going to Epstein's
Oh, I'm sure.
apartment frequently. You know, he was with they were with attractive women. They didn't look like they were like
Underage.
younger than age.
Right.
Like they looked like they were like, okay. These women are incredibly attractive. Like blah blah blah.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure. I imagine
But they
not
like he
every
goes in there. They feel him out.
not every girl
Yeah,
was, I'm sure, underage. You know what I mean? It's not like
yeah. At that point, you're just like some kind of kingpin riding upon this
this. Yeah, just like you got dirt on people, blackmail,
market. Yes, I mean
blackmail.
they were what they were dealing in that.
Right, and you
If
don't
you
even
believe all that to be
just
true,
like,
you know.
hey, you're new to this like cool important position. Yeah, you want to? We have a party with like some of the people local big wigs. If you want to come by, oh cool. We got plenty of like legal aged smoking hot chicks around, right? Legal age smoking hot chick. You're having a good time. You have a couple drinks. You have a couple drinks, and they get you drunk or something happen, you know, and then and then like you seen The Godfather Part Two, the one when they're like Las Vegas, Salt Lake City. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen The Godfather. Yeah, okay, so they're in like
So there's a second part where they want one like the
deep
guys to be
God.
they want in the second one they want like a business license. They want this guy to sign off on it and like help him out. And he wants like a shitload of money. He's like I don't like you with your olive oil hair and your greasy suits and shit. I don't
Oh,
you
I've
know.
seen that scene. Okay,
And then like
I remember you're talking about.
next scene is like he like woke up like came to in like a room with like a dead hooker or something like that. And then like he didn't know where to go and like we'll help you clean this up and then they have him. It's or with women it's called like a honey pot. You know, they try to lure you in with women and maybe you're an upstanding man. Maybe you can't have people see pictures of you like cheating on your wife or with like scantily clad women. Maybe that's enough to blackmail you into just small stuff, helping out, doing whatever's going on. But if you're like a big fish or something like that, like, oh, we got you. This girl's underage and something or blah blah blah. We have it on tape. You're like, oh my god, it's not just cheat on your wife with an appropriately aged like lady from the office. That's not what it is. It is like this is like ultimate blackmail. It's just like, and you're like, I didn't.
Political hit jobs.
What?
Political hit jobs.
Yeah, or just like getting
Of
blackmail on them.
global elite.
Just like yeah, just like okay, we get a new guy. He's coming to the party. We gotta get him on tape doing something weird with like one of these girls. So the appropriately aged hot chicks go in first wave, and then once he's having a good time, we'll switch up the girls on him, and then we'll have him on tape or something like that. Like spies. They just like all these people run their own personal intelligence agencies essentially. You know. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
You're saying like Jeffrey Epstein was employed by like some kind of spy agency of
Yes.
like a syndicated like
The
crime
a government agency. Maybe
organization.
maybe United States, maybe Israel, maybe England or some shit like that. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, where all this money come from? How do you get all these big friends? You're telling me this guy is this pedophile island, and everyone knows about it. Everyone's been there. and like nothing. No one like how this guy is still a thing. You're telling me this guy got in trouble for underage prostitution in like 2010 or 11 or something like that, and even after that, people are still in pictures with him. Like what the app? But these are people who. Isn't there like some like Hollywood director who lives in like Italy or France or something now? It's because like they raped some girl, Roman Polanski or something like that. Isn't he like some like convicted pedophile? But then Hollywood's always still like loves this guy. I don't know. They praised Harvey Weinstein
Yeah,
forever. You
they
know.
like just did like a it was like a French
Mm.
something was like French award.
Right. And he's like, what do you even like? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
It's like that's weird. Hmm. I don't know. These you gotta think. I mean, there's gonna be some serious sex parties. You know what I mean? There's gonna
Yeah,
be like
but
people.
but that's not what we're talking about. You could have
It's
appropriately.
not just little girls. Like that might be like one level of this thing.
You could have no. There's definitely levels. It's always like it's like an eyes wide shut party. You know, like there's different layers. You know, you can get into just like the wearing the mask and the orgy and like the nice rooms, or it gets like deep and there's like it's like there's politics to it, and it's just I don't know. It's just like I don't know.
Masquerade.
You're
I don't
right.
know, man. I get sick. I don't know. Like, have you seen videos of this? Is this
No, I
like
haven't
out there?
no, I haven't seen videos of this stuff. No, it's just like you kind
No.
of just like connect some dots. You know, like I don't know. These top,
I don't know,
if you just
man.
look at some of these top circles and these people who are front and center of these like top titans of industry for forever. They were. It's not like they got in trouble and then were in the spotlight. It's like all these people are like in the spotlight and they've been like top public figures forever. And then it's like oh, then they're all like getting real rapey.
There are a lot of people though that like aren't involved.
Right? Yeah. Sure. Of course.
Like I'm just like learning about this shit like right now. You know, like a lot of this stuff.
I know,
Like
right?
fucking like I didn't know about Jeffrey Epstein until like the first one, like all the stuff like a couple years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't some guy, you know, but he like quickly
Like pretty soon you were like, oh, this
become
is not a
this.
regular guy. This is like a thing. You know, it's like you heard about a story, like
It's
and
like
you're like, oh, private island. And you're like, oh, pedophile. Oh, right. Oh, he's friends with who, and who, and this has been going on for how long? And then you're like, what? You're like,
you know,
what?
like established. It was like a smorgasbord,
Right,
whatever. It was just a bunch of like hot women. It wasn't just like children, but he had
right.
children
Of course not. It's not. Of course
involved.
not. Yeah, no, no, no. Of course, it's not just children. Of course, but I mean, any of them are just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not good.
I don't know, man. Sexy death cults.
Yeah.
I've never actually like witnessed it, but I've seen some videos. I've seen some videos about
Some
that
like weird
stuff.
satanic stuff.
I have like what is all this? There's quite a lot of circumstantial evidence. What? So
Yeah.
you think he's a lure? Who's
Well,
Jeffrey Epstein working for? Disney? I don't know.
no.
Fuck.
It'd
Pepsi,
probably be like
Coke.
Jeffrey Epstein is working for the same people the people who run Disney are working for. You know? Who the hell
That's
knows?
possible.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Right? It's good. You know, like whoever runs like I don't know, top level like CIA people or something like that, or you know, whatever the British MI6 or whatever who the fuck James Bond works for, like some of those type of people, or like, or maybe it could be like just like some foreign, some really foreign like government that just like got some money and they just like finance this like crazy pervert island to get like get like blackmail on
The
people.
drugs. There must be like drugs and like all
Drugs
kinds of
too,
weird
yeah,
shit.
definitely drugs too. If you can move children around, you can definitely move drugs. You know, it's got to be easier to move drugs than it is to move children. What do you
You're
do
going
when
to
you
raves. You're having
what?
these sex raids with like children and all these other things. You like finance it all with like somebody else's money.
Yeah, they take yeah. It's like your tax money
And then you blackmail
used
them. You
to used
essentially
to push
blackmail them. And that's like,
used to push. They take your tax money. They use it to sell drugs to finance their pervert sex island to get blackmail on the politicians, who will then increase the budget for said blackmailers from the start. You know, I don't. You know who the fuck, right?
I feel like the Coen brothers, like, I don't know, man. The, the Caribbean, like, there's so many like little private islands,
And
if you
and it's
will.
so close to like America too. You know, like who the fuck knows what goes on in like these private estates in like Europe or some shit like that? Who like some chateau some pervert pedo chateau, you know, and in like some 1,000 acres of vineyards in France or something like that, and just like you know 100,000 square feet of underground tunnels with like demonic, I don't know, sacrifices going on or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Everybody who's like invited into the tunnels, they all like go down and they like prepare in like symbolic
Yeah,
gesture of
dude,
murder sex or something.
wasn't like Thomas Jefferson like loved going to France and being part of these like weird these like sex orgies. Benjamin Franklin or something. Benjamin Franklin maybe
Yeah.
one of those guys was like real big into like weird, going to France
Going
and
to
getting into
France and
like
having
orgies,
orgies.
getting like syphilis and hanging, just getting into orgies. You know, I
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It's funny.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Is what it is.
Because that was like, that was part of it. It wasn't everybody.
No.
Well, like Benjamin Franklin. Yeah. He had a reputation for doing that.
Mm. Yeah, and that's like the people, and again, right? That's just one of the most prominent guys in one of the most prominent positions at one of the like the biggest times in like world history. And he's like, yeah, this is just what I do. Like it's fine.
Well, they were arresting Jeffrey Epstein. Whoever decided that, or Jeffrey Epstein decided that he was not going to deal with, or whoever
Yeah, whatever
was
happened, however.
able to bypass that and murder Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, they're going to be the people most responsible. They're going to be the people in
Oh,
charge
definitely.
because essentially Jeffrey Epstein just got caught up in that, and that was the market. It was this like
Well, I
giant.
imagine like top like evil. It's like in like mob movies or something like that. It's always about like some young guy, and he's got a chance to do like one small thing for the mobster, and he's like younger or something like that, or in some something's going on or something, and they essentially like make a deal with like the devil, and then they go with it. Yeah, I'll get you that paper you needed. All right, I got the meter. I'll clean this up, or I'll take care of that for you. I'll do whatever you're doing, and then if you do good, you get deeper and higher up the like the mobster food chain, but it's like deeper and darker into like like Diablo, like different like lower levels, you know, and it just and I think like if that's like mobster stuff, so that's maybe like numbers or like drugs, like beating people up, loan sharking and stuff. But then there's like someone at certain points, someone gets like pulled from like the major leagues of that, like top level of that, and like, hey, we need you to get these round up these children and bring it to like this whatever's going on, and then maybe people are like, I don't know where you get children from, but someone's like, oh yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I got that. It's like this is a big deal for
People
someone
get
who's huge.
lost in those like
Yeah, and
you
then before
create a
you,
state like that level. You could just create a state that was like a prostitution state. You say, okay, we're gonna have a state out here, or like a territory. We're gonna have all the prostitution in this territory,
right?
and then you create like a real
That's like Las Vegas.
dense, thick market. You know?
Yeah, it's like Las Vegas
Yeah.
was a mob
Well, it's
town.
not even like Las Vegas. I mean, sure, in like some situations.
Well, they
I
essentially,
bet that's like a huge hub of like the American market.
yeah.
Las Vegas,
Or like
like all those girls.
L.A., New York, Chicago, Miami, just these major cities. You know, top level, super rich people want like whatever the hell they want. You know. Yeah, who knows? All right, Sean. We did 2.5 hours after we did
Yeah,
an hour and a
I don't know,
half.
man. All right, deep topics. The global elite and
Right.
what money can't buy.
Started out light, and then once you get to a certain point, there's no way to. Hey, so boobs again in video games, and so
I
But
don't
it was good talking to
know.
you.
Where the fuck is Prince Andrew? Where the fuck is Prince Andrew in all of this bullshit?
He's hiding, man. He's
Where is
praying.
Prince Andrew?
He's praying. He's
He's
panicking right
praying, but
now.
like I don't know where. Like who's going after that guy? Like, and why aren't they like? Don't you have like more to show for yourself? I'm sure he has something to say about all of this.
Of course he does. Of course he does, and everyone like knows about it. But it's like a regular police officer in London can't just like arrest Prince Andrew, but like people at the top either like I'm not like not going near it or I don't know. I don't know. Who know? It's like one of those things we all know, and we all know this. It's like just the two-tier justice system, like just manifested just perfectly for you to see. This is anyone else who's something they'd be questioning this guy. This guy's a royalty, so no one's asking about why he's hanging out with this international sex pervert. You know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Sean. All right.
All right. Well, keep looking. I don't know, man.
All right, Sean. This was fun. We'll have to do it again.